And of course, we all know the Bay Area is no stranger to earthquakes, most notably the 1989 Loma Prieta earthquake that collapsed freeways and buildings. Ground 4's Jonathan Bloom has a look at how our most recent major quake stacks up to the great quake that just hit Peru.
Just looking at this devastation, it's clear this was a major earthquake. If you were here in the Bay Area in 1989, you remember these images from the Loma Prieta quake. But these two earthquakes were very different. First of all, let's look at the magnitude. The Loma Prieta quake was a 6.9 magnitude, and the Peru quake is now being called a magnitude of 8.0. That means, according to geologists, the Peru quake was 30 times as powerful as the quake that hit the Bay Area in 1989. But now let's talk about the type of earthquake. The kind of quakes that hit California are what are called strike-slip earthquakes, where the Pacific plate here underneath the ocean is actually moving north gradually and scrapes against the edge of California as it goes. That causes what's sort of a side-to-side motion of the two plates rubbing against each other. But that's not what happens in Peru. In Peru, have a look at this. The Nazca plate underneath the South Pacific Ocean is actually wedging itself in underneath the South American continent right here. And what that causes is a lot of up and down shaking of the land here in South America. And that can lead to very big earthquakes. In fact, this is the fourth earthquake of magnitude 8 or greater that's happened in Peru in the last 50 years. Now, just remember, the earthquake that hit Peru was much more significant than the earthquake that hit here in the Bay Area in 1989. But that doesn't mean we're safe. In fact, it turns out the magnitude of the Peru earthquake was the same as the magnitude of the 1906 earthquake that decimated San Francisco. That earthquake happened along the San Andreas Fault. Now, Cron 4's Craig Sklar reports on a new discovery that could explain some of that fault's behavior.
They are tiny grains, but they represent a key player in the effects an earthquake could have on your life. Within these grains, you'll find talc, the softest mineral around. And that softness has the attention of geologists who study the San Andreas Fault.
If there's enough of it there, it could explain why these portions of the San Andreas Fault and the Calaveras Fault and the Hayward Fault are all creeping.
By creeping, more means the tectonic plates we live on are moving slowly without us feeling a thing. These images of streets and sidewalks pushing out of place happen without feeling one tremor of an earthquake.
When we think of talc, we tend to think of talcum powder, but that's not exactly what we're talking about underground. Still, the theory is still the same, as that talc sort of acts as a lubricant against the impact of these temblors.
The gradual creep of the San Andreas Fault over the years prevents at least some big quakes along the 100-mile stretch south of the Bay Area. Geologists see similar talc within the Hayward Fault in the heavily populated East Bay, raising hopes future quakes might not be as bad as they could be, as the talc within this kind of rock breaks free easily under pressure.
So you would be able to kind of slip along slowly and regularly, rather than having everything locked and then stresses build up until it fails in a great earthquake.
Further drilling into area faults could verify this, and geologists say it would be good news, sparing some of the Bay Area the kind of earthquakes that could lead to heavy damage and casualties. Craig Sklar, Cron 4 News.
Stay tuned to Cron 4 and Cron4.com for the very latest on the earthquake in Peru.